that commenced in 2019 under the former APNU-AFC coalition. This is according to Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat, who told the National Assembly last week that this process will hopefully conclude very soon. And the PPP government has made provision in the 2023 budget to review the field development plan for the sixth project American oil giant ExxonMobil plans to pursue in the Stavro block. Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat said last week that $100.7 million is allocated for the review of the Whiptail development. He explained that Exxon has indicated that the FDP will be submitted to the government late 2023. The 2023 budget documents were not clear as to the source of financing for this process. We tried to ascertain these details from Bharat, but he was not very useful. He directed Kaieteur since last week to speak with a specific member of staff, but when asked for the contact information for that person, the minister did not respond to date. Efforts to contact him yesterday were also unsuccessful. Meanwhile, the High Court in December last year ruled that Guyana's Environmental Protection Agency breached the law to issue a permit to Schlumberger Guyana Inc. to construct a radioactive storage facility at Lot 1 Area X Houston, East Bank Demerara, without conducting an environmental impact assessment first. Judge Nareshwar Harnanan, in handing down his ruling, not only quashed the EPA's decision to grant permission to the U.S.-owned company to construct and operate the facility, but also ordered that the works at the radioactive storage facility be halted. In a notice published in one of the daily newspapers on Saturday, Schlumberger indicated that it will be engaging the public regarding the radioactive facility at Houston. Meanwhile, 3 Guyanese and 2 companies related to them remain on the Inter-American Development Bank's blacklist years after they were first sanctioned by the regional financial institution. Back in 2018, a total of 8 Guyanese firms and individuals were on the IDB's list for fraudulent and collusive practices. The 3 Guyanese who are still on the list are Vivekanand Dalip, Sabrina Mary Williams, and Abel Kamrad Rai. Notably, Dalip's firm is also on the list, as well as a firm that is reported to have connections with Rai. Though it is not the first time that local firms and individuals have been barred by the IDB, it must be noted that the institution is one of the biggest funders of government projects. Meanwhile, a 27-year-old taxi driver on Friday night accidentally ran over his drunk cousin with his car at St. Cuthbert's Mission, killing him. The dead man was identified as 54-year-old Paul Daniels, who was reportedly lying on the road when the accident occurred. According to police, the incident took place around 21:30, while the taxi driver was heading west along the St. Cuthbert's Mission Scheme Road with passengers in his car. A breathalyzer test conducted on the driver after the accident revealed he too might have been driving under the influence. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is Noon. We'll return shortly after the break.
It seems like children have been home from school forever, and you've done baking, drawing, schoolwork, and played Ring of Roses about 100 times. We've all been under some strain lately, but let us embrace our children. They're under strain too. Let's show them more love, patience, and care. Let's help to build their resilience in these trying times. Not just today or tomorrow, but for the future. Their future. A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
This is GHK Lall, inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues, immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. The government will soon be rolling out an online registered nursing program to fill the void which currently exists in the country's public health system, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said Thursday. Through this hybrid program, nursing students will complete their learning modules online and then engage in their practical courses at simulation centers. Those centers, the health minister said, will be developed in the coming year. Dr. Anthony said with the expansion of the country's health sector and with new hospitals coming on stream, there is a need to have adequate human resources, and therefore the government will be working to ensure that every faculty in the profession is equipped. Meanwhile, cancer patients and persons suffering from chronic diseases no longer have to spend thousands of dollars to travel overseas for stem cell and immunotherapy services because these services will be available in Guyana at Woodlands Hospital. The private hospital on Saturday officially launched the Cancer and Chronic Diseases Treatment Services, the first of its kind in Guyana. Woodlands partnered with Fidelity Health Care Limited and Trinidad and Tobago to make the therapy treatments available in Guyana. Speaking at the launch, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony noted that it was only last year that the government passed legislation that caters for transplants in Guyana, which includes stem cell therapy, and expressed how pleased he was. He is that Woodlands Hospital jumped at the opportunity to be the first in bringing the treatment to the country. Meanwhile, a businessman's son was on Sunday evening assaulted and his car torched by angry residents after he crashed into two pedestrians at Hopetown, Berbice, Region 5. The accident victims were identified as a teenager and a young adult in his 20s who might be a member of the Guyana Defense Force. According to eyewitnesses, the accident occurred close to 18 hours. They recall that the victims were walking along the shoulder of the Hopetown public road and were approaching the entrance of an adjacent street when the businessman's son lost control of his car and crashed into them. Public-spirited citizens ran to their assistance and rushed them to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital. And to wrap things up as usual, we turn the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7, dedicated to being blunt. Exxon contract has room for renegotiation. Article 32, Stability of Agreement. Except as may be expressly provided herein, the government shall not amend, modify, rescind, terminate, declare invalid or unenforceable, require renegotiation of, compel replacement or substitution, or otherwise seek to avoid, alter or limit this agreement without the prior written consent of contractor. So, why President Ali and Vice President Jagdeo are not calling Exxon back to the table? And that brings us to the end of your news at noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of